Hey guys, I'm a Forester here. I just wanted to do a quick video on my fountain pen collection. This is a hobby that I got into this past year, probably about 9 months ago. The very first pen that I bought was this one right here. This is a Conklin Classic and it's called the Fireline model. It's made out of ebonite, which is a wood product. And this was the first pen that I got. I'm not going to do a review. I've got reviews of every one of these pens. I just wanted to really summarize where I am with my pen collection right now and give you some feedback on how I feel about them, 6 months to a year later. This is my Lamy 2000. This is a pen that I've reviewed and used a good bit. I'll share a little bit more about my thoughts on it in a minute. This is one that came, you might say, free. It's called a Charlie pen. But this was one that came with some ink, and it's an eyedropper pen. And then this one is one that came as a gift to me from my wife. It's made out of olive wood, and it's a kit pen that was made locally. Now, I'll set these aside and one by one discuss them a little bit. I'm going to just do a little bit of a writing. Of these four, one is definitely my favorite, and one is definitely the one I'm most disappointed in. Let's start positive. And which one is my favorite? Well, of those four, the Conklin Classic, after a year, is still my #1 favorite. And just to show you, it's a screw cap. Just to show you, I'll do a little bit of writing. This is the Conklin Classic Fireline. And it has a fine nib, and it's a Noodler's ink, red black. I really like this. I could just carry this pen. I would want something in black though to go along with it. So that's #1. Now, which pen am I most disappointed in? Well, this might surprise you, but it's the Lamy 2000. And this was the most expensive pen that I've purchased so far. This one was, I don't remember, but it was somewhere between $150 and $200. The reason it's my least favorite, and I've got two reasons, I covered them in the talk that I gave in the review, but it has a hooded nib. Hopefully you can see that. That makes it very hard for me to see how it's oriented. It has a medium nib, and it puts out way too much ink for me, for my taste. So this is the Lamy 2000, and this is a medium nib. But I feel like I'm writing with a crayon, and my handwriting, I tend to like to write a little smaller, and it's just better suited for a fine nib. Now, a medium in some other makes might not be that broad, but I feel like I'm writing with a crayon. The main reason that I don't particularly like this pen, or I was disappointed in it, is that it has a sweet spot. And that sweet spot may not bother some people, but it really bothers me. And so if you're writing and you turn it, well, it's not going to do it right now. But if you turn it any at all, it'll not write. And it just seems like that causes me more and more problems as I use it. And it's probably my eyesight, so maybe it's not the pen's fault, but that is annoying to me. So that one is the one I'm most disappointed in. Which one do I use the least? Well, it's this Charlie pen. This was free. I'm sure I paid for it, but it came with the ink that I bought. And it's an eyedropper pen. And this is a pen that I was using a lot, but then a drop would come out of the nib every once in a while and it would ruin whatever I was writing on. I don't have any ink in it right now. I cleaned it up and just set it aside. And that happened, I did that on the day I was interviewing somebody for a job, and I was filling out a form in front of them, and it started leaking, got all over my hands and ruined the form. So I just set it aside, went and got something else, got cleaned up, and I haven't used it since. But this is one, it's very low quality. It worked well when it was working, but then 2 or 3 times it's messed up on me and I just haven't used it at all. So I set it aside. I might get it out and use it sometime in the future. And then you have this one, and this is the one that was given to me by my wife. It's made out of olive wood. I won't evaluate it, but it doesn't. I don't think it has any ink in it right now. Yeah, I need to ink it up, but I use it pretty regularly. It has a fine nib, and I enjoy using it. So it had a very scratchy nib when I first got it, but I've worked with it, and actually right now it's not that bad. So of the fountain pens that I have, I would say my favorite is the Conklin Classic Firelines. That's number 1. The olive wood pen I use regularly. In fact, these two I'll carry together a lot. So I'll have a pen with the black ink and a pen with red ink. The Lamy 2000 is the one I would rank next. It was my biggest disappointment. And then finally the Charlie pen, which was free. And those are the 4 pens I have in my collection and how I would rank them. So if I could only have one pen, it would be this one right here out of this collection. Now I want to talk a little bit about where I'm going from here. So this isn't an unreasonable number of pens for having been in the hobby for 1 year, but I do have a couple of pens that I want to get on an upcoming trip to China that's already, the tickets are purchased and we're making plans to go. I want to go to 2 or 3 pen stores in China, look at Chinese-made pens, and possibly make a selection there. So I have a Chinese watch that was made in China for Chinese businessmen, and so then I'll have a fountain pen to go with it. The other thing that I want to do is I've been looking at the different pen shows, and I think I'm going to go to the pen show in the Raleigh-Durham area. I think it's at Crabtree Valley Mall in Raleigh. I want to go to that show later this spring. I think a gentleman, and his name may be Ryan Krusak. I'm not positive. I was going to look it up and then forgot to do that before making this video. He's going to be there, and he specializes in custom-made wood pens. And so I have an idea for a custom pen that I want to talk to him about, and so that'll be my next expensive pen, and probably my most expensive pen. But that's where I am right now. If you're into fountain pens, post your comments below, and y'all take care. Have a good weekend.